Hey, this is Dr. Mauldin with Neuropathy Secret. This is an updated version of my previous webinar because, quite frankly, it was pretty boring and just did not get to the point. So I really want to go through this as quickly as possible today. You can read here everything that I've done. If you want more information about what I've done, you can ask me and we can talk about it. But the main thing is, let's just get down to business and talk about neuropathy. Let's talk about what my program does and does not do. So let's keep going. So I am a doctor of chiropractic. I've been a chiropractor since 1999, and I got really into neuropathy in 2013 because I saw that doing chiropractic could not help some of my patients who had underlying issues. I have always been interested in nutrition, and I looked at nutrition all the way back into the 90s, and I've been doing functional medicine now for about 20 years. And this is something that really goes deeper into your blood work and gets to the bottom of what's going on with you. A lot of times when you go to the doctor, all they do is routine blood work. They might check 20 or 30 things. And let's say that if you're looking at a puzzle and you only get 25 or 30% of the puzzle, you can't really see the big picture. So in my program, I look at 97 different things at minimum from the beginning to see all the different parts of your body. We look at your liver, we look at your blood sugar, we look at vitamin D, we look at homocysteine. I'll get into that more in detail if you decide to work with me. But the reason that is important, instead of just doing routine blood work, you can really see what's going on with a person right now versus just looking at basic things. So we'll get into that more a little bit if we talk on the phone. But I do want to stress that a lot of people say to me, oh, I just did blood work, last week or yesterday or 2 months ago, but it didn't check the right things. So don't be misled in thinking that you're getting what you need, because a lot of times it's just not happening. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news about it, but I talk to people every single day and they get frustrated because they've been a lot of different places. They've tried other programs, and a lot of times in these other neuropathy programs, people are not even checking their blood work. So it's really important for me not just to sell you some quick fix machine that is going to just treat your symptoms, because that's no different than a medicine, okay? Because that's just treating symptoms. I want to help you to find out why you're sick, why you have neuropathy. Okay, you might say, I have diabetes. Well, you do have diabetes, but why do you have diabetes? Something else may be going on. It's not just like one diabetes gene in your body or diabetes pill or some part of your body, because our bodies are not like cars. You have to look at the whole puzzle. You have to look at what your body is doing in relation to your cholesterol or your vitamin D or homocysteine. Again, I talk about these things very much in detail if you work with me. And I know that it's hard to understand if you have not ever heard these terms before, but that's my job, to help you to find out what's happening. So let's keep going. So these are just some of the testimonials, and I could tell you this stuff all day. You either believe it or you don't. I mean, a lot of times people think, I've heard people say, oh, those testimonials are fake. They're not fake, but who am I to convince you? On the internet now, there are so many fraudsters and people trying to rip you off and sell you every kind of thing under the sun, and you either believe it or you don't. But you, at some point, if you keep doing the same thing that you've been doing, expecting different results, that's really the definition of insanity. So my job is not to convince you. My job is to at least give you some hope that there is another way, and you don't have to listen to there's no cure for neuropathy, there's no treatment for neuropathy, or I've tried this and I've tried that and nothing didn't help. It's up to you to open the door and finally believe that maybe there's hope for you. Because if you keep doing the same thing, you will not. How much better do you think you'll be in another year, 5 years, or 10 years? I see people have been in this shape for 10 years and they cry to me on the phone because they've been laying in the bed for the last 10 years. And it breaks my heart, because I know there is hope for these people, but I also know that at some point we have to to just drop our guard down just a second and know that not everybody is trying to rip you off, and not everybody out there is trying to just take advantage of you. So I won't go into that anymore, but I don't know if you can feel what I'm saying to you, but it really does break my heart, the people that I talk to that have been taken advantage of. And I'm talking in the amount of these programs that other people are doing. They range from 4,000 to 15,000, and that's no joke. And all they got were some machines. And think about it. A machine is only treating symptoms. So I don't care if you spend $100,000 on a machine. If you've still got the hole in the system, a problem in your body, that machine will stop working at some point. And then the symptoms get so strong that the machine can no longer do its job. So those machines might work for a little while, but when these symptoms get so out of control for the disease process or whatever is going on in your body, no longer will they work. So, I mean, I've had people say that they spent $10,000 and went to somebody's office and they did machines and they worked for a little while, but then a year later it came back. And I said, okay, did you do blood work? And they say no. So I cannot say to you enough, if anybody else that you're talking to and they want to sell you machines and just give you basic generic supplements, run for the hills. I'm telling you, because this is just another way of covering up the problem and to make a quick buck and not really take the time to sit down with you and talk to you and get to the bottom of what's causing your problem. That is the difference in what I do. I take the time. I look at what the cause is, and it's not easy. Trust me, working with you guys, a lot of times it's not easy because especially I have patients from 50s all the way up into their 80s and 90s, and the closer we get on the top end of the age, the harder it is to change and people lose hope. So I like to catch people when they're still hopeful and they're still willing to change, because if you're not willing to change and you just want that quick fix, you're not going to see much change, and this program won't help you either, because if you don't listen to what I tell you to do, it will not get better. Okay, let's go on. So let's talk about peripheral neuropathy, how it develops. I'm not going to go into it too much. It's basically, here we have the brain and the spinal cord and all these nerves that go down into the legs and down into the arms. Those are your peripheral nerves because they're off of the center of the spine, the central nervous system. So out here, the nerves get damaged the further that they get away from the heart. So obviously the feet are the furthest point away from the heart. So when they get the decrease of blood flow, the decreased sensation to the nerves, so those nerves start to degenerate first. So most people, when they show up, their first symptoms are numbness or something that's bothering their toes. So there we talk about peripheral nerves that we just talked about. It's like this. If you're watering the plants, everything grows. Same thing with the nerves. If you don't water the plants, what happens is the tree or the roots will start to pull away from the dirt. So if you don't get the proper blood flow down into the feet, the nerves will start to shrivel up and dry up. So if you water it, you know, hopefully there's not so much damage that the nerves won't repair themselves. But the first thing is getting blood flow. So the blood flow is like the water, which is the life force. So you have to have the proper blood flow and have the proper nutrients. But you got to make sure that it can get down there first. What causes neuropathy? So let's go back here. So basically, well, the main thing here is diabetes. Most people with diabetes, they know about neuropathy because the neuropathy, the sugar attacks the nerves, attacks the blood flow, and it starts to shrivel up the nerve from the end of, you know, all the way down to the toes. So the blood flow pulls away from the nerve. The myelin sheath, which is the protection around the nerve, starts to get holes in it. And then what you feel are these electrical sensations or decreased sensation or decreased blood flow that can feel like it's cold or it feel like they're walking on hot coals. that can come from diabetes. Also, other things that can cause diabetes that maybe you don't know can come from poisons or toxins, like down here, alcohol. I don't know if you can see this picture. Look, this guy's tied to the alcohol, because a lot of people, and I've had this too, I've had people tell me that they would rather lose their feet than to give up alcohol. I had a patient like this years ago. His legs were the color of an eggplant, and I told him, I said, if you do not stop drinking, you will lose your feet. And he said he would rather lose his feet. And I said, I cannot work with you. So this is what I'm telling you. A lot of times we are, we've become prisoners to the choices that we've made. And it can be from alcohol. It can be from sugar. It can be also from aspartame. I don't know if you know this, but that's from diet drinks. That's a neurotoxin. It also attacks the nerves. There are other things too. Thyroid issues also attack the nerves. So those are things that we all look for, that I look for in your blood work when I talk to you. Statin drugs. This is huge. This is probably the biggest thing that people do not know. And I have two examples of that in my family, unfortunately, my mother and my father. And it brings me great emotion to even talk about it. But my father took statin drugs, and that's what caused his type 2 diabetes, caused his blood sugar to go up. Then it started to attack the nerves and caused him to have neuropathy and leg cramps, and then he ended up having a stroke. Same thing happened with my mother. So I don't care, I will preach as much as I possibly can about the statin drugs, because I have two family members, the most precious people in my life, were both damaged by this. And so I am extremely passionate about helping people to open their eyes and to really see what is going on in their health. Now, with that said, I am not a medical doctor. I did not put you on these drugs. I cannot take you off these drugs. This is a conversation that you will have to have with your doctor. So I don't want to be accused of practicing medicine. I don't want to practice medicine. I love what I do. I could have been a medical doctor. I chose this because I saw what drugs did to also my grandmother. She was on 20 different drugs before she passed, and she had Alzheimer's. So I don't want anything to do with it. But I can tell you, based off research, don't believe me, go online, look up statin drugs causing type 2 diabetes and neuropathy, and you'll find a lot of it. There are actually some lawsuits out there. I don't have anything to do with it. So also chemotherapy will damage your nerves. So there are a lot of things that cause neuropathy. It's not just one. So we have to find out why you are sick. Why do you have this neuropathy? And let's get to the bottom of it and start healing your body. Now, when you have neuropathy, a lot of things develop. People can't stand up. They use a cane because they can't walk anymore. They have numbness, tingling, burning in their hands or feet. I have people that tell me, I feel like I'm stepping on hot coals, or I feel like there are, hot needles in my feet, or I feel like there's a stone underneath the ball of my foot, or I feel like there's something in my shoe, or I feel like I can't feel the carpet, or my hands and my feet are always freezing, or they feel like ants are crawling on them, or I don't want the covers to touch my legs or my hands. And there's just on and on and on. There's so many different types of symptoms, and some people have pain. So that we talked about, let's talk about this, the dizziness leading to balance issues. So think about this. I showed you the picture before, how the nerves get deteriorated, that myelin sheath is damaged. Well, if you're not getting the proper stimulation, think about this. If your nerves in your feet are damaged, then your feet, the nerves are not sending the proper communication to the brain, so the brain no longer knows where your feet are. So let's say you're walking along and you trip over a rock in the street or a curb, or let's say you're walking through the house and you trip over the carpet or something. And the first thing that happens is we blame whatever it is that we tripped on. That's your first mistake. It's not what you tripped over. The problem is that your brain is not getting the signal fast enough to pull your foot away to help you to balance and keep from falling. This is a huge deal, so do not take it lightly. But the thing that's most important is if you fall, and we already know the blood flow is damaged and the nerves are damaged. If you fall and twist your ankle and break a bone, if the blood flow and the nerve flow are damaged, what is going to get down to that bone to heal it? So I talk to people who tell me that they've spent a year in rehab because their bones would not heal. You have wounds that don't heal because of the sugar or because of the damaged blood flow or the damaged nerves. Balance issues are serious. They're one of the top causes of death in the elderly because balance and dizziness and falls and bones and lack of calcium, lack of blood flow, lack of nerve flow can lead to death, especially if you hit your head. So these are huge. So my goal is to help you to stop this, hopefully reverse it and improve it so you don't end up in a nursing home. Who wants to go to a nursing home or lie in your bed? I mean, life is short enough as it is. Let's get, to the bottom of it and improve it. Improve your life. Okay, unable to feel textures. I've had people, or temperature. They put their hand in the water and their hand gets burned because they can't feel the water. So it gets hot and it scorches their skin. So that's something. Or freezing too, either one. This is a big one right here, erectile dysfunction. Now I want you to look here. This arrow on this slide shows the toes, the foot, and the genitals. Do you see how close those are together? So this is something that a lot of people don't even think to tell me because they're embarrassed, and they don't want to tell me because I'm a woman. But I have had men come into me in my office, and we're talking about neuropathy. They can't feel their feet, and they've lost a lot of sensation, and then we happen to bring it up, and they say, does this have anything to do with erectile dysfunction? And as a matter of fact, this right here, this little picture here is called a homunculus. I know you probably won't remember that word, but this is just a map on the brain. And so what happens is when you lose the sensation there, you also lose it in the genitals. So I had a guy that came in to me one time. He said, hey, you know what? I have this, he was in his 50s. He said, I have this good looking girlfriend. And I knew where he was going. And he was good, man, she's good looking. He said, but things just don't work. And I showed him this picture, and then I put him on my program. I put him on the right supplements. He came back in there like 2 weeks later, and he said, oh my gosh, I want to thank you. My girlfriend wants to thank you. And that was the end of the story. So I bring this up in case you're listening and this might, say something to you. This is super important. So there you go on that one. So again, pain comes from the brain. So once we start to stimulate that brain, calm down those nerve signals, then your brain starts working better and the pain starts to calm down. So that comes through some of the machines that I help you, that you have at home, that you're able to do the therapy that I recommend. So how do people treat neuropathy? Well, this is the traditional approach. You might recognize some of these. There's gabapentin, Lyrica, amitriptyline, Cymbalta, and I've heard tramadol. I've heard a lot of other things, just basic pain relievers, even narcotics. So that's how the medical approach does. So again, it's just treating symptoms, hoping that you'll go away and leave your doctor alone and that they'll help you, because that's what they want. They tell you they can't help you. Neuropathy there's no cure. They don't want to sit down and really deal with it. So they just send you out the door with this. Again, what I said earlier, disclaimer, I am a licensed chiropractor. I am not a medical doctor. I'm not trying to diagnose or treat any disease. If you have something that you are concerned about, you need to go and talk to your doctor. Do not discontinue any medication unless it is upon a recommendation from your medical doctor, not from me. Always discuss anything that you change, anything that you do with your medical doctor. Here's my approach. Okay, so getting back to, I kind of mentioned it earlier, the way that my program works is a 90-day program. Number one, I do not accept anybody into my program until I do blood work, because I do not want to say, hey, I can help you, and your blood work comes back and it is something out of the realm of using functional medicine, which is the approach holistically and is something that needs to be addressed medically. So my first step, number one, is the blood work. I don't even let people pay me in advance for the 3 months, because if something comes back, then I have to refund it. I would just rather find out, are you a candidate to work with me? Are you not a candidate to work with me? So the initial blood work is number one, and I test 97 different things that will look at your blood and your urine to give me, like that puzzle I talked about, gives a full picture of what is happening with you in this moment. Not a little bit of blood work here. You wait for those results. Maybe something comes back that's abnormal. They send you out for something else, and then you wait again. So I do it all at one time. Let's get to it. We look and see, who is this person I'm talking to? Can I help you? Can I not help you? I don't want to waste your time. I want to help you get answers. The people who talk to me are beyond frustrated. They've been everywhere. You've talked to every single doctor that I've heard people say, my doctor probably thinks I'm crazy. Or they say, I've tried this, this, and this, or every cream, every supplement. One thing about supplements, think about this. Why are you taking these supplements? Has anybody told you why? Have they looked at your blood work? Have they said, hey, Johnny, you have this, this, and this going on, and you need to do this to help fix it? They probably don't do that with you. They just say, oh, vitamin D is good for you, alpha lipoic acid is good for you, B vitamins, but they don't actually sit down and look at your symptoms. So I am begging you. I don't know how to get this message across any clearer to people than to say, please ask questions. Please look at your blood work. Please let somebody to go deeper with you. It's okay to do that for yourself. You don't have to just go by what the doctor says and just order routine things, and you go in and they say, oh, your blood work looks good, Johnny. You're fine. Well, you're not fine. This is truly a way to see what's happening. So when we do that initial blood work, I'm going to be able to tell you exactly what we need to do off of that blood work. And then what we do based off of the blood work, number two, I'm going to put you on a customized diet and supplement protocol based off of your blood work. And that's a 90-day program. And this is designed to help your blood work to get balanced. Okay? And there may be some things on your blood work that do require medical attention as well. And you'll know that. You'll have the lab work to go see your doctor if you need to. So we work as a team here. It's not me against someone else. I realize where I work, and I realize where medicine works, and I stay in my lane and let them stay there. But I'm trying to help you do it from a more holistic perspective. The other thing, number three, is you get machines from me. There are 3 machines, okay? One of them is you put your feet in water, and it helps to send electricity and stimulate the nerves. It helps with pain reduction. It helps with reducing inflammation. It helps to stimulate the nerves, helps to wake them up. That's number one. You do that every day at home. You can do it at midnight. You can do it whenever, twice a day. The other one is a boot, but it's actually a pad that can go on your elbow. It could go around your neck. It could go on your shoulder, your hands, but it's designed to go around your feet when we talk about neuropathy. And what that does is, and this is near infrared therapy, it opens the blood vessel up. So it helps to dilate the blood vessel, gently heating the area, and helps blood flow to get down to the nerves to help them to heal. The third thing is a vibration plate. You put your feet on the plate. It vibrates very quickly in many different fast directions. It helps to stimulate the muscles, stimulate the nerves, helps to strengthen the muscles, helps to improve balance. It also helps with the nerves. So those are the 3 machines that I recommend. And let me just tell you, maybe you've talked to another doctor's office or another program. They have these 3 machines. Most of them do. I can tell you these are very similar machines, and they might throw in some supplements. But again, you have to really be mindful and look, is it just generic supplements? Because if they're just saying to you, take vitamin B, take this nerve repair supplement, or do this without looking at your blood work, you're really not finding out what's going on. But you might feel okay for a little while, but I can guarantee you eventually the symptoms will get worse, and you're going to come back and you'll be mad and you'll say, you know what, I did this for however long and now my symptoms are back, because nobody took the time to sit down with you and find out what the root cause is. So that's the difference in my program. If you want to just go buy machines, I guess you could buy them anywhere. One good thing too, I want to say this in the update in this webinar, is I've been able to find a manufacturer that has been able to cut the price of the machines 50%. So my program has decreased the price significantly, but I'm still cheaper than the other programs out there that only sell machines. I don't know how much longer my program will be this, low in price, but right now you're getting a lot of my time. You're getting, 24-hour, not 24-hour, but we respond with messages and text and calls within a very, short period of time during my entire program. So you always have support from me and my staff. And then at the end of the program, one other thing, every 30 days, we do symptom review to make sure you're improving. And then the final customized blood work at the end is to look to check the blood work from the beginning and the end to show you the improvement. Okay, so that's it there. Here's some other testimonials. Again, you can read these if you want, but again, they could all be fake. They're not, but you don't know me. You don't know what I have. And anybody that you see on the internet, that's pretty much the way it is now. We either have to believe it or we don't. So you either like me and you say, hey, I want to work with this lady, and you trust me, or you look at me and you might think I'm a big scammer. I don't know. All I know is that I'm trying to be very honest and straightforward with you about what I do. So testimonial videos, if you want to see some testimonial videos, you can look on my Facebook page, Neuropathy Secret. And what do you do now? So here's the big one. This is what do you do? So if you have neuropathy, you're not happy with your symptoms, you want to talk to me, I will do a free call with you and discuss some of your symptoms with you and see if this is a match for you. But, and one thing about it, you can do the full 90-day program, or you can just buy machines. But if you listen to this whole webinar, I would hope that you would do more than machines, because you're really doing yourself a disservice. The one thing down here at the bottom that is super, super important, hold on, okay, I messed up there, but it's really important there. This, I want you to look at me. My program is not covered by insurance. I get this question every single day. Does United Healthcare take it? Does Medicare take it? Does Medicaid, Blue Cross Blue Shield, whatever it is? Insurance will not pay for you to get well. The government does not care if you get well. They're in the business to make money and save money, and they will do the bare minimum. And if you want to really find out what's going on with you, you will have to pay for this out of pocket, because insurance will not cover it. So if you have any questions, please send those to me. I will be happy to answer them, or we can do that on a call. I hope you've gotten something out of this, and I hope this is an improvement from my last webinar. I will leave you with this, and I hope you do the right thing to take care of yourself. If it's not with me, I've given you just enough information that you can find somebody else if you don't like me and you want to work with them. So take care. God bless. Have a great day.